Jamie turns and begins heading in the direction of the stairs. Whether she heads for the main entrance or the rear exit, if she goes down right now, she'll have no idea what she's walking into. It's a far better idea for her to head up to the roof and see if she can't get the lay of the land. The blonde can feel her blood pumping through her veins as she moves, and she finds herself moving at a jog, even though she hadn't meant to. She reaches the stairs in short order and places her foot on them as she prepares to climb. However, as she does, she hears something just on the edge of her hearing. It's not very distinct, but she thinks she can hear some kind of rustling coming from below. She leans over the railing, peering into the gap that leads all the way down to the ground floor. Yes, there's definitely something, but it's faint. However, it's there. Unfortunately, from this angle, she can't see the entirety of the room below, so she can't get a good look at whatever is making that noise. She feels a little chill run down her spine as she takes a step back and considers that the apartment building might not be as secure as she'd first thought. The blonde turns and begins to climb the stairs, taking them two at a time as she hurriedly makes her way upwards. She keeps an eye out for anything directly in her path, but otherwise keeps her gaze looking up and forward. She'll admit she's afraid of what she might see if she allows her eyes to wander at all. Fortunately, the building isn't very tall in the grand scheme of things, and she makes it all the way to the top in less than a minute. The first thing she notices when she steps out onto the rooftop is how cold it is. Something which isn't helped at all by the way the chill breeze brushes against her exposed skin. Right after that, she hears the sounds being carried on the wind. The sound of low, mournful voices that seem to echo through the entire city. The sound of it fills her with a sense of dread, but at the same time it makes her feel oddly sad. Something about the voices of lost souls echoing through the night is very pitiful. Jamie shakes her head and tries to rid herself of those oddly sentimental thoughts. Instead, she hurries over to the edge of the roof and peers down onto the streets below. The situation down there isn't great. She already knew it was going to be bad, but it's actually worse than she'd expected. There's more zombies than what she could see from the window in the corridor, and as she looks, she keeps finding more of them. Even apart from the ones that are standing out in the open, there's a couple standing in the shadows of nearby doorways, and even one standing right behind the nearby bus stop. There's plenty of room for her to maneuver, true, but she'd still have her work cut out for her to try and avoid all of them. In contrast, the alleyway seems almost completely clear. Of course, it is a lot darker than the street, so she can see less of it, but there doesn't seem to be anything moving in there at least. Jamie takes a deep breath and tries to steady her nerves. Okay, it looks like the decision has been made. She walks over to the ladder that's bolted to the side of the building and examines it closely. It's clearly old, but she doesn't know how old. She doesn't think it's an original part of the building, although she can't say that for certain. She reaches out and grabs hold of it with her hand and gives it an experimental tug. It seems sturdy enough. The blonde takes another deep breath and places her foot on the first rung. She goes slowly as she descends down to street level, not just to avoid slipping, but she wants to make sure she doesn't stumble into a zombie ambush or something. As such, she keeps her eyes focused on the ground below her, and she can't help but think that it's a good job she's not afraid of heights. Even so, her heart pounds violently in her chest the whole way down, and the cold metal feels like it freezes her fingers. It only takes her a few minutes to reach the bottom, but it feels like forever before she sets foot on solid ground again. The ladder leads down into the alleyway that runs alongside the building, but it drops her off right next to the exit that leads onto the main street. It's pretty dark and dismal down here, but even with it being so dark, she trusts her ability to navigate through it properly. It's not the first time she's been through here of a night. Her only concern is that there might be something lurking in the shadows, waiting to jump out at her. Just as that thought crosses her mind, she hears something, a dull thud. The sound is so loud in the confined space of the alleyway that it almost causes the blonde to jump out of her skin. She whirls around, her eyes scanning the darkness for whatever had caused it, but she doesn't see anything. Then the sound comes again, and her eyes land on a nearby dumpster. Is there something inside it?